ReZero, the past couple episodes, has been giving us such good stuff, man. Like, seriously, Emilia, background story, probably one of the most powerful villains in all of anime, to be honest, and one of the most intimidating looking as to what the villain is. And backgrounds on somebody we thought was just literally insane last season. Like, there's so much that we've been getting the past couple episodes that just really adds a lot of depth of things and a lot of weight, and especially to our main heroine of ReZero, Emilia. So that's what I want to talk about today, mostly just Emilia, not much else of other things, and this new episode. So if you have not caught up on ReZero yet, tread lightly on watching this video. You should go check it out, and more specifically, have the patience and the willpower to stick through all the damn misery that is part 1 of this season, because seriously, part 1 was just a little bit too much misery, but now we're progressing and we're learning. If it's the first time here, or if you've been watching videos, a lot of mine recently, subscribe to the channel. Why haven't you yet? If you watch more than 3 videos, why not? You're enjoying the content. So, there's so many places I could go with this, but let's try to hit some things in order. First off, one of the reasons this Emilia flashback arc is so compelling is her relationship with Mother Fortuna, who looks like she could be Emilia's mom, but it's more so because it's Emilia's sister's, or it's her father's sister, and that's why they look similar. But she has been more of a mom than anybody else in Emilia's life, and their relationship at the core of this arc is what really makes it so damn compelling. And also another reason is because child Emilia is such a light that needs to be protected, and she's just a joy, and it's very sad to see her misery in any way. And we see her have a lot of misery in this episode, and we'll get to that in a moment. But I don't know, like, there's other things that I thought was pretty cool so far building up to this, like the dynamic between Emilia and Echidna. I thought it was really cool to see the two of them side by side in this trial that is about dealing with one's past. And Emilia hasn't been able to deal with this whole thing because her memories weren't accessible. And now that Puck, did what he did and kind of left her, now she's able to access these memories and finally kind of undergo the trial fairly. And as well as with Subaru's help, of course, with the last reaction I recorded. But I don't know, just seeing these two together, it's just an interesting dynamic, kind of like the dark and light, and they have like similar style hair. So I don't know, just something about the two of them has really been cool. But, oh man, I need to hurry up and get into this episode because something I was really not expecting in this entire like flashback arc, Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is still to this day, well, maybe not anymore, but Betelgeuse is one of the most like hatred-inducing villains I have ever had in an anime in season 1. Like, go watch my reaction to that episode. I was so furious at that man and how insane he was and how annoying he is. But we are actually getting background on frickin' Betelgeuse in this whole thing. And I was not expecting that, man. Frickin' Betelgeuse, the insane, moronic, just killer that's completely gone insane. But we find out here that he was completely sane back in the day. And not just that, but he was a very key figure in Emilia's life. And there was a point that Emilia, like one of the timelines, she actually killed Petelgeuse. She shredded him to pieces. But she didn't know who he was. And I don't know, man, just Betelgeuse as a whole, as we'll get into this episode, I just wasn't expecting that. And also, I just hate this dude. I hate him so much. He is freaking annoying. And I never want to see his face again until the time that we get to see his face just get punched and he's like, I'm no longer beautiful. I want him gone. But let's get into the thick of the matter. Mrs. I don't even remember her name. It's not Fortuna. Pandora. Bro. One of the most powerful anime villains ever. And this episode specifically, like, I gotta talk about her in previous episode, like the last episode too, but this episode and like what's on screen right now, this situation was so terrifying. To put a child into this situation where she is just like, oh, I can't break my promise, but everybody's in danger, everybody's gonna die if I don't, please spare them, please. No, you have to break your promise, little child. Because if you don't, everyone you love will die. Like, she was already physically powerful, but then she does this situation that is just, dude, I gotta hand it to her. I only saw this girl for 2 episodes, but she physically, like, in terms of power, like, she just bends reality. I don't know how you could come through that. She's a witch of vanity, and she bends freaking reality. She technically got killed in people's eyes like maybe 24 times in this whole thing. Probably more than that, to be honest. But no, that was never really her. And she could just, at the flick of her freaking wrist, completely change the timeline into something that is different. She can change the timeline into something that, like, oh, in this reality, I never had annoying face come here. Oh, in this reality, I was never here. Oh, in this reality, like, bro, she can change reality and change what people's vision is. Like, dude, it's not like she herself is physically powerful. I mean, maybe she put what's his name into the ground, but like, in the words of my buddy Titus, if he watches this, I don't like this little girl. Put her back, please, because she's terrifying. Oh my God, and I don't know how they're going to deal with her. I thought, like, you know, the great beasts were something to deal with. But no. Pandora is probably one of the craziest and most powerful anime villains ever. It honestly kind of reminds me of Aizen from Bleach. Actually, it's like Aizen from Bleach, but she can actually change what the reality is. Dude, that's freaking God status. That's a literal, like, God status. But anyways, so the beginning of this episode was horrifying. And then I was eating breakfast. I was eating my cereal watching this episode. I was just going to watch it and not do a video about it. And then all of a sudden, I keep mixing up Pandora and Fortuna. Fortuna and Geuss go for an attack on Pandora. But Geiss's eyes are deceived. He hits Fortuna. And what... I love how, like, Emilia... There's so much I have to say about this death. There's so much I have to say about this. Because... I don't even know. Like, Pandora causing it. She's the cause of it. Pandora is the cause of it. There is no getting around it. She changed... Betelgeuse's or Geiss's, whichever one you want to call him. She changed his vision to hit the woman that he loves. I mean... It's pretty teased between the two of them that they liked each other. But he kills the woman he loves, which is an insanely horrific thing that I can't even imagine anybody going through. Emilia has to witness this happen to people she cares about, and one of them killing the other by accident. And she's just a little girl. Everything around her is just falling apart. And we're already in this intimidating situation of a godlike being in front of us that changes reality. So this moment, I was legitimately, like, in awe shock for like 2.5 minutes. And just, I don't know. And this actually makes sense. This explains why Betelgeuse went insane. Like, he went insane. I was kind of disappointed with the last episode titling it The Day Betelgeuse Laughed, but that's not really accurate because I don't think he really did laugh at that episode. This is when he laughed. This is the day that Betelgeuse laughed. And I mean, I guess technically they're both the same, but like, that just broke him. And I'm sure, you know, Pandora here just manipulates him, says something in his ear that makes him just become a follower. And that shit got so messed up and so dark. And then Emilia freaking snapping, bro. I need a better screenshot than this, but Emilia freaking snapping and just die. Like, I legitimately was feeling that. Like, I was getting sad during Pandora's death, but Emilia screaming as a child, and she's such a pure child too. She's such a pure child, and all of a sudden we get to see her abilities like completely awaken and just become, you know, more powerful, way more powerful than Fortuna. But just a little child that was so pure before, screaming die, die, die. And the presentation of her, like, she really is just like just constantly blowing up Pandora. But it doesn't matter, because Pandora's just, I don't even know what she is. She's just literally beyond our comprehension. That's what Pandora is. She is literally beyond our comprehension. But this moment was just insane. And finding out that, like, Emilia was the one that really, and honestly, I figured, but she was the one that froze all of the elves and her people here and kind of put herself in the block of ice. But what we didn't know was one of the reasons she lost her memories, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, is because of Pandora. Pandora, because she can bend freaking reality, was like, hey, and I actually want your interpretation on this. Like, I'm gonna wipe your memories before I showed up here today. Okay, bye. And like, she did that. But why did she do that exactly? Like, was that kind of an act of love to do for Emilia or something? I don't know. But Emilia was a good tyke. She is a good tyke in this whole thing. She keeps her promise to her mom, and when she smiled, dude, when she smiled to freaking Fortuna as she's dying, and she like has this smile and just is like, you know, I forgive you. Like, don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about my mom. Don't worry about my dad. Just know that I forgive you. And she does it with a smile on her face. She tries her best to smile. Is like, don't worry. You never let me down. Like, you always made me happy, and you always did what was best for me. And it's like she's trying to give comfort before she goes. I think Fortuna's death, seriously, the way it was all handled, that is one of the most powerful deaths I have ever seen. And I didn't cry during it. I got a little bit emotional, but it's like, I was just stuck admiring it. It was one of those moments where I was just like, if I had a notepad, I was like, this is master writing. Like, that was so good. And Emilia's like, just her doing that just made her character all the more, it makes sense. Emilia does her best to try to be the light. And speaking of the light, yeah, I want your guys' interpretation as to why Pandora wiped her memories, but, you know, we also get to the point that she decides, you know, Echidna explains, do you want to leave behind this part of yourself, or do you want to kind of forgive yourself? And Emilia pretty much goes the forgive herself route, and she's like, I will apologize to everybody profusely. I am going to make the world what I want it to be. And it almost was like it was a little bit jarring to see how confident she was about her desires and like what she intends to do and stuff. And it's kind of like Echidna said, like how delusional you are, but like that's kind of like the most ideal situation we could be. But hold on, because there's more to it than this. But that's the most ideal situation we could be, is just telling people, you know, like, instead of just constantly dreading our decisions and making like sadness and constantly grieving, we have to keep moving forward, and we have to make them proud. We have to honor our promises and our mistakes and our failures and do better. And yeah, Emilia explains the things that she regrets. She didn't regret holding true to her promise. What she did regret is not being strong enough or smart enough to potentially have a better outcome to that situation. She didn't regret not breaking her promise, though, that day, because who knows what would have happened, but she doesn't regret that. So that was cool. But then we get to see her actually cry after it's all over and do the grieving that she finally gets to do, which, yeah, so I just thought this episode was sick. I don't know, like there's a lot of other things I haven't talked about ReZero, like how I Fun fact, of all of the things, Rem coming back, all the rabbits, the village being free, the assault on the mansion, Emilia's background story, for some reason, the number one thing I am looking forward to most in terms of payoff, for some reason, is Beatrice. I am really looking forward to Beatrice and whatever happens with her and that getting solved. But man, this episode just getting like more depth on Betelgeuse and showing Pandora's power and having a really good death with Fortuna and Emilia going mad, honestly, just screaming that shit, like die, like this is great. This is a really great episode of ReZero, and it took a long time to get here through like half a season of misery, but we're finally making freaking progress. So yeah. If you want to see my reaction to Emilia and Subaru kissing, you can see that to the side, or something else you might like. But thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments on what you thought of the episode. And don't forget to be geek, be proud, be awesome, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.